you can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
Yes, it is time for the truth. Right here, right now. This is the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. With your host, John Matthews.
The latter-day prophet. Baying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together, we seek to tear down the imaginary wall, a separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your host on the globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos.
Hey, how we doing out there? All across this great republic, and we can use that word once again. This great republic, the United States of America, and around the world. Glad to have you with us this day after Election Day. Wow, what a bombshell. What a bombshell. To many people, not here at the Conservative Syndicate, but as I watched the media last night, in fact, I'm kind of groggy. It's been a long, long time since I've stayed up as late as I did last night. And I was up probably well past midnight.
Midnight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm normally, I'm at that age where I need my rest. My days start earlier. Now that I'm retired, my days start earlier than they used to.
Oh, you poor people on the left coast out there in the Pacific.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
I was up at about a little bit before 4 o'clock this morning. Didn't get to bed till after midnight last night. Woke up about 3:35, 3:40, somewhere around there. Decided, well, I better get up and see what happens, because when I went to bed last night, there had not been an actual determination. I was trying to hang on because Pennsylvania had like 97% in, and Trump had like a 1.5 point lead. And they were saying, once they could call Pennsylvania, then it was over, And I think, okay, I'm just going to hang on. I'm going to try to hang on here. But they still hadn't done it because they were talking about the number of absentee ballots that had come into Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. And so it's like the people that were crunching the numbers back there said, we're not quite ready to call that because, historically in counties like this or cities like this, the absentee ballots go to the Democratic side. So, the 1.5 point spread, we're not really ready to call it. I hung on as long as I could. Got up this morning and, just checked the headlines. Oh, wow, we did win, and we won by much more than, well, the fact that we won, that in and of itself. But during the course of the night, I was flipping around to the different channels, the different outlets, to see how they were all handling this stuff. And I want to talk a little bit about that today because there were some hints. There was some revelation. I don't know if they planned on it, if it was intentional, if it was just out of emotion. But a couple of things that these people revealed as to what they're looking at and how they're going to handle this. But one thing just seemed across the board was everybody was shocked. Everybody was shocked. I didn't see one channel, one pundit, one talking head that really thought Donald Trump had any chance of winning. And that in and of itself was all worth the wait and the work. That if I'm going to gloat over anything, it's going to be how the media just totally got their ass kicked last night. And let's hope it's the beginning of a trend. It just has to happen. Anyway, let me get Joe Hakos on here, my partner in crime. How are you doing? You were at your little election gathering last night. How was that?
Oh, it was a lot better the way it turned out than according to what the pundits and everybody were saying. And it was very good. We had about 5 or 6 live reports from the local NBC affiliate out here. Was at the event, and so we got to scream and holler and drown out her report quite a few times. So that was always enjoyable. A good person. She did very well, and she was just out there reporting what was going on. So actually, really good. Local affiliate. Local affiliates aren't like these national people more often than not, anyway. So that was fun, and it was really good. It was nice to see. A little nervous there. It was really nice to see. They tried to do their usual stuff. At the beginning there. Trump had a nice lead here in Florida, and then the Broward County and Miami-Dade came through, and there's folks down south, and then looks like he was down about 3 points, and then lo and behold, that Florida Panhandle come through and brought Donald Trump a victory in Florida. So he owes me a beer.
Yeah. Who else owes you a beer down there is good old Marco.
Well, yeah, Marco won a lot easier than that was predicted. I can tell you that right now. So I think that has a lot more to say with the competition he had as opposed to him.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the things, and I haven't bothered to look it up, one of the things I was looking at last night, as the way they were showing the numbers here last night, is they had, because I spent most of the time on Fox News. But I flipped around, all right? And one of the things that really got me was, I think maybe about 10 o'clock, 10:30 or so, the reports were coming in that Darrell Issa was losing. And I was like, I was ecstatic. I'm like, yes, we finally got, well, he ended up winning. He won by 2 points, 51% to 49%. But I'm like, I don't care if that district goes to the left because Darrell Issa's in it anyway, So I thought, oh, yeah, he's going to get it. They're finally going to give this guy his pink slip. But I guess but the election is being challenged by the opponent, Doug Applegate. So they're going to have to do a recount or something like that. So we'll see.
Did it hit an automatic threshold, or is it because he requested it?
Well, no, it says, let me look at the article here. I just had the headline in front of me, but it says here that Issa, this is the San Diego Union Tribune reporting, Issa has a small lead over Applegate in high-profile challenge. It says that Issa has a small lead over retired Marine Colonel Doug Applegate Tuesday in one of the country's most watched House races. 51.1 to 48.9 with 100% of the tally counted, but over 1 million votes across the entirety of San Diego and Orange counties still need to be tallied. Okay,
I had 100% in. What are you talking about? What the hell is that all about?
Well, what they're saying, 100% in terms of the number of votes that were eligible to be counted. I think what they're talking about are provisional ballots or mail-in and stuff like that. I'm looking here to try to see if I can get the details of that.
Oh, my goodness, that's quite a lot.
Yeah, well, this is California. And it says as of this morning, he was ahead by less than 4,000 votes.
Yeah, so that's pretty darn close then.
Yeah. So I'm looking here. Yeah, but I guess there's still ballots that need to be counted, probably, the provisional ballots or whatever. And
California is home of the Xerox machine, so hey,
Yeah, and that's actually see, this is we can use this to kind of launch in to the first strategy that we're going to see from the left here in the coming years as we get prepared for 2020. Okay, or maybe even 2018. No, it has to be 2020 because we're talking about
18. No, they're not going anywhere, John. These people aren't going anywhere.
Oh no, they're not going to troll off into the sunset. By no means. These people just repackage their agenda and they come back and they just go at it again. You got to give the left credit for that. These people, they're so ignorant they don't know when they've been whipped, and so they just keep coming back. And it kind of leads to one of the things, because the first thing I saw this morning from some of the leftists out there is talk about the fact that Hillary Clinton won the popular vote. And since there's millions of ballots, provisional ballots and stuff like this that still has to be counted, she'll probably pick up more popular vote, although none of those things will sway the electoral vote. So the argument is going to be coming from the left, like it was in 2000. is that we need to do away with the Electoral College. And the opening argument of these people was this. Donald Trump himself criticized the electoral process because I thought Donald Trump probably figured he was going to win the popular vote. And so he was out there arguing, I energized the Republican Party, 14.5 million voters voted for me, and, Reince Priebus was on CBS this morning. That's more than any candidate's ever gotten in Republican history, and I bet you Trump was thinking, that's how I'm going to beat this rigged system, and so he's complaining about the Electoral College, but if it wasn't for the Electoral College, he would have lost. So,
absolutely.
But that's the thing that's floating out there. I got a couple things I want to share with you about that, because these are things you need to start ingraining in your head. The one thing we cannot do is put our sword down now and think, we got it, because this thing is just starting. We're just starting here. The initial process of trying to get this republic back to the place where it's supposed to be and was established and designed to operate. We're just beginning. This is just because I don't care what you guys think out there. Do not forget, Trump is not a conservative, all right? So don't be fooled by the idea that just because he won and he is a populist and everything else, that this thing is over. It's far from over. He still has to deal with Congress, for crying out loud. So anyway, let's go to our first break, and Joe and I will start exchanging our thoughts and views here. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away. A healthy attitude toward politics will always be relentlessly cynical. TheConservativeSyndicate.net, doing our part to keep America healthy.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Attention taxpayers. If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you've been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959.
Don't get your panties all in a bunch.
The Conservative Syndicate.net, exposing weapons of mass distraction. Okay, hey, we're back. This is the Conservative Syndicate, and I want to emphasize that, Conservative Syndicate. And you are listening to myself, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. And, let me just kind of go a little bit more into depth what I was saying just before the break here. The idea here, let's see, what was I talking about? Oh, the popular vote, okay. That was floated out there during the 2000 election, and I believe one other election after that. It was the second. No, it wasn't.
John Kerry.
John Kerry. Yeah, I got him mixed up with Barack Obama because the two are so much alike. John Kerry was the same thing. I think he won the popular vote and lost the Electoral College vote, and the same with Al Gore.
Notice something here. The last 3 times that the Democrat has lost the presidential election, they've decided not to concede that night.
Oh yeah. That was one of the things. There was an exchange that took place. I just happened to catch this. Like I said, I was channel surfing, and Van Jones was on CNN, and they had Corey Libinowski. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Trump's former campaign manager, who, by the way, was hired by CNN as an analyst. And John Podesta came out and made like a 2 or 3 minute statement. It's late. We're not gonna. We don't want to jump the gun here.
Total lack of class.
Yeah. Everybody go home and sleep, and we'll take care of this tomorrow, kind of thing. And they got back there, and Van Jones and Corey Libinowski went at each other. Really went at, and Libinowski was livid. He said, you know what? If the tables were turned and Donald Trump did something like this, you people would be piss and vinegar right now. You'd be up in arms, and Van Jones is trying. You know what? This is the entire problem, Corey. You guys are just so hateful, and you're so bigoted, and you're so this, that, and the other. And you can't just let the thing go. You won, all right? You won, and Corey Libinowski would not let up. He just kept coming, and finally, who was running the thing? I forget who was heading it up. Anderson Cooper, I think, was heading it up, and he's trying to calm Corey down. He's going, whoa, let's take a time out here. Let's take a breath. And Corey's, no, you guys. If Donald Trump made an announcement like this, you people would be all over him. This would be the integrity of the system. He let loose. And it was shortly after that Van Jones went into his little racist tirade, which we'll talk about in a minute here. But I want to stick to this popular vote concept here, because this is the thing that's happening here. Already this morning, 2 articles that I saw right off the top from Stephen Olemacher at the Associated Press. Clinton on pace to win popular vote despite losing election. Okay, despite Tuesday's presidential election, despite losing it, Hillary Clinton appears to be on pace to win the popular vote, as if that means jack squat anything right now. An ironic twist in an election in which her opponent repeatedly said the system was rigged against him. Just 2 days before Election Day, Republican businessman Donald Trump tweeted, "The Electoral College is a disaster for democracy." Yeah, it is a disaster for democracy, but it's not for a republic.
Yeah, it's a good thing we're a republic.
Yeah. As it turns out, without the Electoral College, Trump probably wouldn't be president-elect. Okay? 125 million votes counted. Clinton had, and that's still, hey guys, listen to this. 125 million votes. Record turnout in certain places. That's still only 1/3 of our population. All right? So this whole idea that, I'll leave it at that. You can figure out the math there. We still have 2/3 of this country sitting on their ass doing nothing.
Thank you very little.
Or very little, yeah. Clinton had 47.7% of the vote. Trump had 47.5%. That's a lead of about 236,000 votes. All right, so what they're saying is many states count votes after Election Day. So Clinton isn't guaranteed to keep her lead. Now, they don't clarify, but we know that most of what they're talking about most of the time is provisional ballots and perhaps absentee ballots to some degree. I don't know. But they're saying the biggest chunk of the uncounted votes were in California, which, by the way, let me clue you in on California. This was a joke. I got off the air last night. After we got off the air here, I was sitting on a panel on another show, the Jiggy Jaguar show, that's based out there in New Jersey. And and they were all these guys are all East Coast guys. So they're out here. They're all asking me about California. What's going on with California? This, that, and the other. And I got off that show. I was on with that panel for about an hour. So I hit my television set here about 7:30. I think it was around 7:30 when I hit the TV. And they'd already called California with 20% of the vote in. All right? 20% of the vote in. And the reason why Clinton had 60%, Trump had about 23% or something like that. But I saw it. I just want to explain this. I want to share this because this is what made me so nervous all night long. When I got off the shows last night and turned on the TV, Trump was ahead something like 173 to 115 or something like that. And I'm looking at that. So what I kept doing, not paying attention to what they had just said or what I was seeing on TV, it just kind of, I saw it and didn't register with me. I kept adding 55 votes to it. I kept saying, okay, Clinton's got 115 plus 55. And so we'll see what happens here as we get further on in the night. And so as we're getting, as the night wore on, all of a sudden Trump is up to 254 and Clinton is at 230 or something like that. That was below 230. I forget what it was. And I'm still adding 55 to it. And I'm sitting there going, oh, my God, this thing could really come down to the wire here. And then I saw the graphic again. California was called for Hillary Clinton. And I went, oh, they've already counted California. We got this thing whipped. As soon as I saw that, oh, okay. There's no high anxiety here. He only needed 16 votes to hit 270. They had 4 of the 7 states that were still counting. Trump was ahead by 1 to 2 points. And I'm thinking, oh, okay. And then I saw Pennsylvania come in, like you said, just before I turned in, at 97% reporting. And he had like a 1.5 ahead. And I'm thinking, oh, there's 20 electoral votes. He's got this thing locked. Okay, but that was the anxiety in the night for me. It just never registered. I could have saved myself so much grief if I just had added those 55 votes in at the beginning of the night.
Yeah, like they did.
But it really tells you just how predictable California is. And that really upsets me. It really upsets me. And one of the things I'm bound and determined to do, I got to find some people out here in California that we can do something to turn this thing around. I don't know how. But I think it starts with, I don't know what the voter turnout for California was. I'm sure it was higher than it was last election. But I want to know how many of the 33.3 million people, legal citizens out here, actually voted. We'll see what that kind of turn. Those are things I want to look at. I also want to look at the proportion between the number of people that voted for Hillary Clinton compared to the number of people who didn't vote for either Kamala Harris or Loretta Sanchez for Senate. That's going to be an interesting number. 39% of the people out here in California didn't know who either one of these people were. So, and I know every Republican or conservative I talked to out here wasn't voting for Senate. at all. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. So in your neck of the woods, though, you were in the Panhandle. You guys are the guys that really carried Trump over the top, because I believe right before they announced it, at that time they announced it, Clinton had Florida by a couple of points, I believe. And then the pundit was saying, well, but they haven't, there's still polls open in the Panhandle.
That's right.
And so nobody was willing to come out and say, well, Hillary's got Florida. But, these are things that will pan out in the coming days. I'd like to know how many of the Broward County and Dade County votes were actually absentee rather than cast at a polling place. One of the things I saw here, Joe, I was just looking at all these stats last night.
Mm-hmm.
The number of absentee votes have increased since the 2000 election, which there was about 4%, I believe it was, of absentee ballots cast in 2000.
Well, you had that guy that you had on the show last night with Bob said he got sent an absentee ballot and he never requested one. I mean, that's happening in all the states.
Yeah, and what they're saying is there's been the number of ballots that were absentee this year, 20%. So that's what is that? A fivefold increase in the number of absentee ballots that are being sent out. And one of the things that everybody admits is that most of those ballots belong to Democrats. And so that should be a dead giveaway that something's on the fix.
Yeah. That brings up what we said a few weeks ago about voter fraud. We don't hear about it again until 36 or 38 months from now, or 42 months from now. We won't hear about anything about voter fraud. You're not going to hear squat about voter fraud come December 1st.
Yeah, okay? That's right.
And then all of a sudden everybody wakes up again from their slumber. Hey, voter fraud! Shouldn't we have taken care of that sometime? The time to take care of it is like now.
Yeah, and that's something that somebody would actually build an entire campaign. That's something that leftists would do. They'd build an entire campaign on doing what? Doing what leftists always say they're going to do. We have to fix the system so that this never happens again.
Yeah, it's funny if you look at these maps. You're talking about Miami-Dade. It's funny if you look at the Florida voter turnout, and I'm kind of surprised at one thing. But if you look at the blue pockets being the Democrat pockets, Miami, Miami-Dade, Fort Lauderdale, down in that area, the Palm Coast down there in Florida. Then you have Tampa. Then you have the Orlando area. And then, what's that other blue spot up there? Oh, that's where the University of Florida's at there in Gainesville. Okay, and then you have this other little pocket up here in the Panhandle called Tallahassee, where the state capital's at. But where I was surprised was, hey, there usually is a blue dot around Jacksonville, and that didn't happen this time. The entire, pretty much northern part of Florida went all Trump, and especially the Panhandle heavily went to Trump.
Yeah, that's amazing. I found this map. Somebody put this map out on social media, and I don't know where the source was at. I think they pulled it off a website someplace, and they just never referenced the source. It was just a photograph, a graphic, and it is broken down how the electoral map would look if only blank voted, and then they have different graphics for each. For the United States, and like if only people of color voted, if only women voted, if only men voted, if only white people voted, if only white women voted, if only college educated white women whites voted, if only non-college educated whites voted, and white men, and they broke it down like this. Now I don't know how accurate it is, but it does fit into the narrative of what I believe we're going to start having to listen to on and on and on for the next 4 years. Yeah. People of color. Every state would be a blue state if only people of color voted. All right? I don't know. I guess you poor people out there, you blacks and Asians and Hispanics that voted for Trump, I guess you don't count. All right?
Yeah, you didn't matter. You weren't redeemable.
Yeah, you're deplorable, unredeemable. Uncle Toms in the case of blacks, and I don't know what they, gringo. They call them gringos out here, Hispanics that adhere to American traditionalism.
What about our Korean friends?
Huh?
What about our Korean friends? And folks from over in the Asian
they have
Pacific
nice names
Rim?
for them. I mean, they have some really nice names for them out here. Rice burners, I think it's the one I hear the most. Slant eyes, that's another one.
That's a really good one. Ooh.
Yeah. Well, there's some really, I can't say it on the air here. There's some really,
Probably shouldn't have to. You probably shouldn't say that on the air.
Yeah. So anyway, if only women voted, they show all but about 10 to 12 states. And the states are in the northwest or mid-northwest, like Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, and in the south. Some of the states in the south. North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, those states are blue. But we're talking about Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee. If only women voted, they would be red. Everything else would be blue. If only men voted, I got to go to a break here. We'll do this one. If only men voted, there would only be Washington, Oregon, California, New Mexico, Illinois, these little states up in the very northern part, Maine, New Hampshire. Everything else would be red. So this is how they're breaking it down. It gets really interesting here. I'll share this with you when we get back here. I forgot we got to go to a break here. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate.
State Talk Radio, WRS Cleveland.
Ever wonder how the credit card companies make their money? Well, think about this. If you owe $25,000 on 5 different credit cards and you make your minimum payments every month, here's what it's going to cost you. Are you sitting down? You'll shell out over $13,000 in additional interest, and it's going to take over 13 years to pay off your original $25,000 balance. That's how they make money. Now it's your turn to fight back by calling the Debt Solutions Network. We'll work on your behalf to reduce your debt. We specialize in credit cards, retail store cards, and medical bills. We promise we can and will reduce your debt. Call right now for a free 15-minute debt analysis. 800-709-4392. 800-709-4392. 800-709-4392. 800-709-4392.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So, why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907.
If you've got joint pain, let me ask you a question. Would you like a high-quality knee, back, shoulder, or ankle brace at little or no cost? Now, just in case your reception isn't great, let me ask you again. Would you like a pain-relieving knee, back, shoulder, or ankle brace at little or no cost? Well, if you have Medicare insurance, you could qualify for these pain-relieving braces at little or no cost. And these are high-quality braces. They are very comfortable, and they've helped thousands relieve their pain. Now, I'd like you to imagine going on vacation, playing with your grandkids, just living your life again without pain. The Mobility Hotline is a referral service that connects folks with Medicare coverage and other insurance to accredited companies offering pain-relieving braces at little or no cost. And don't you worry about the Medicare paperwork. They'll handle it all for you, and they'll deliver your braces for free. Call the Mobility Hotline now. The call's free. 1-800-557-6150. 1-800-557-6150. 1-800-557-6150.
Get your panties all in a bunch.
The Conservative Syndicate.net, exposing weapons of mass distraction. All right, hey, we are back, and this is the Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives, and we're just rehashing what took place last night, not in the sense of what actually happened. I mean, it's pretty evident what happened. Everybody got it wrong.
Yeah.
Everybody got it wrong. Again, almost everybody. We knew what was coming down the pipe here. I was really, I got to tell you, I was really touched this morning. One of my more avid liberal friends who's out there, who likes to joust with me over anything that, everything from God to conservatism or whatever, sent me a small message this morning, said, "Congratulations. I know Trump wasn't totally your guy, but I know he was closer to what you wanted than the other side." And it was a heartfelt feeling for me, because this gentleman and myself have had some real conversations, and not always pleasant. And but I've managed to stay civil with him enough that he doesn't file libel charges against me, and vice versa, I guess. But it was like, that was I think it really kind of exemplifies what we really need to do right now, is to really kind of push some of this crap that has surfaced during the last 7.5, 8, 9 years in this country, been rehashed and repackaged as an actual campaign strategy by people on the left. And but anyway, having said that, I just wanted to mention that. But let me get back to my map here, because it does feed into another aspect of what I'm just talking about here. And that is how the left is going to, on one hand, try to tell us that we need to be civil, but these people are going to become the ones that are not civil. And it's just a matter of how effective they're doing. If it becomes effective, they'll try to retain some sense of decency. But if it doesn't work, especially if Congress actually starts trying to do everything that Donald Trump has promised, it's going to get pretty nasty. It's going to be a 4-year campaign of the same kind of vitriol that we have been subject to the last 7.5 years. There's a lot.
No, come on, John. These people would be civil and accept the fact, try to work together for the betterment of the entire nation, wouldn't they?
Oh yeah, yeah. Maybe in the land of Oz,
Well, I just wanted to put it out there, because with Dan Pfeiffer out there going, it sucks when the KKK wins.
Oh yeah, I know, and some of that stuff's out there. One of the conversations that we had on the panel last night, from one of my other avid liberal opponents out there, Frank Cotolo. I'll mention him by name. We were talking about voter fraud. The panel that they had last night had about 6 people on it. I'd say 4 of us were conservative. James Lowe, Jiggy Jaguar, is really a moderate. He's in the middle on everything. He's not really a staunch political guy. His show consists of a lot of things outside of politics and stuff like that. He just likes to dabble in it once in a while. But Frank Cotolo is a self-ordained atheist, pseudo-intellectual. And he likes to attack everything that I say. And he does it, he's good-spirited about it. We have, some deep conversations about things. But anyway, we got to talking about voter fraud. And the other 4 members of the panel, we were all basically echoing the same thing. Dan Perkins was one of them. Josh Bernstein was on. And we were talking about, that all these things that are being reported at the state level, especially Pennsylvania and Texas. Since Pennsylvania last night came into play, and early on, Texas, at one point, was being, Hillary was leading.
Yeah.
And so, everybody was talking about this situation with the voting machines. And good old Frank, he says, you guys have to explain to me. You have to explain to me how you get so many people to willingly participate in voter fraud. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm like, well, Frank, it's not getting millions of people to willingly cooperate in voter fraud. It's getting a few people to program machines. Okay? It's that simple. You don't need a whole lot of people to pull this off. Broward County, had 4 workers in the back filling out ballots. That's not millions of people. You're assuming that the Democrat Party as a whole, the makeup, the base of the Democrat Party, is participating in fraud. Now, I'm sure if we talked about illegals voting and everything else, yeah, absolutely. You're talking about millions of people willingly participate. And why would they do that? Well, they didn't have any problem breaking the law coming into the country. Why would they have any trouble breaking the law to stay here? It doesn't, this isn't rocket science. It doesn't take a great stretch of the imagination. Well, how do they do that? How do they do that? I mean, you guys say they recalibrate their machines. How do they do it? I said, it's called a program. You go in and you manipulate the program, for crying out loud. That's not hard to understand. But he didn't want to understand that because he doesn't believe in this vast right-wing conspiracy stuff out there that we're out there floating all this stuff out there, and we're just making this stuff up because we got nothing better to do. So anyway, back to the map. Back to the map here.
Map, yes.
Okay. The point I wanted to make with the map is they draw this all out. And what they're basically saying is that when white people vote, the majority of the country has a tendency to be all white. Okay? White women, if only white women voted, there's like 8 or 9 blue states. If only white people voted, there's like 7 to 8 blue states. If white men voted, there's only 4 blue states, and everything else is red. And so the whole point being is that it's white people that are the problem. Okay, we white people. Where do we get off voting to protect what we want? And if we are, we're only voting because we're white, and that means we want to oppress everybody else. I keep saying this. I have nothing, absolutely nothing against Barack Obama's color. He's half white. Okay, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem if he's half black. I have a problem that he's 100% socialist Marxist. That's my issue. And that's what the people are voting against. Nobody in any polls, I didn't hear anybody. Did you hear anybody during this election cycle, Joe, say, I don't want Barack Obama president because he's black. Now, I'm sure there's people out there that have said it. But if there were a great number of people saying it outside of the KKK, don't you think the media would be playing that every day?
Well, it'd be a much louder narrative than it actually is.
Yeah. So you point to the KKK. We all know the KKK is racist. We all know the Aryan Brotherhood is racist. We know that. But the population, the makeup of these organizations and groups compared to the overall population of the country, nobody's out there saying, I don't have any, I can't remember anybody ever saying to me, I just don't like the fact that Barack Obama's black. What I hear is, I don't like the fact he's a socialist, or is he a Marxist, or he's a liar, or he's corrupt. Okay, well, all those aspects are colorblind. For crying out loud, we just had a white woman run, and she fits that description to a T. So it's like, what's the big deal here? You know? And so when we get back, I want to share with you the rhetorical rant of Van Jones over at CNN last night. I don't know if he did this before. He dressed down Corey Lebanowski for being so rude and mean. I think he said something like, you're being a bad person tonight, Corey. Something like that. I don't know if this came before or after that, but it kind of thinks it's very jaded compared to what Corey Lebanowski was talking about. So stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. We'll be back in just a moment. There is an old saying, children should be seen but not heard. At no time is this more apparent than when politicians speak. TheConservativeSyndicate.net, the adults in the room. Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardosa. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardosa Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosalive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosalive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did. History affirms a vibrant civil society thrives on freedom of conscience, religion, and choice. Any society absent these qualities stifles individual responsibility and accountability, thus enslaving its people by denying them their potential for goodness, creativity, and altruism. To that extent, oppression, coercion, and totalitarianism are multiplied exponentially. To counter such outcomes, the American Freedom Alliance was formed. The AFA is a nonpartisan, non-aligned movement which promotes, defends, and upholds Western values and ideals. The Alliance strives to build an international coalition of citizens of the West who together promote and protect moral values, democracy, and freedom. To find out more and become part of this valuable asset in the preservation of freedom and all its rewards, contact us at AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. That's AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. Let freedom ring.
Get your panties all in a bunch.
The ConservativeSyndicate.net, exposing weapons of mass distraction. Okay, we're back. The Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. And I was leading in, everything I've been saying is leading up to this point. We're talking about what the strategies and tactics and the narrative and everything that's going to be repackaged and resubmitted for the consideration of the American electorate over the next 2 to 4 years. One of the things that happened last night that I think even further just popped everybody's balloon is that the Senate retained its majority. I think They lost a couple of seats. The House lost a few seats, but still has a very large majority. Only needed 218. I think they ended up with somewhere in the neighborhood of 280 something or something like that. So,
let me look it up.
Huh?
I said, let me look it up.
Yeah, I had the numbers off the top of my head last night, but I've been cramming my head with so much stuff. They got filed away in that little hold basket that
They got 239.
239, and the Democrats had 100 and something.
192.
192. So
and he needed 218 for a majority.
Right. So the House is pretty much solid, and but the Senate, there's a couple of Senate races I guess have to go to runoff. So right now, I think it's
51 to 48.
Is that what it is? 51.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means one seat. I think December 10th. One of the seats, I know they said December 10th had to have a runoff because of the way the election went down. I guess it was too close. And, the rules of that particular state or whatever. Anyway, talking about Van Jones on CNN last night, this guy's one of the most despicable analysts that I see on any show. I just like
communist. He's a convicted communist.
Yeah.
He's a convict.
And served on the Obama staff.
Yes.
And, I think I like Lawrence O'Donnell more than I like Van Jones. That's to give you a gauge.
Ooh,
okay.
I got a clip of Larry O'Donnell too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll listen to some of those because and the stuff is, if it wasn't so pitiful, it would be comedic. Okay, and it's so pitiful that these guys, these are true believers. You're going to hear some clips here. This is what true believers sound like when they've been given a pulpit and authority to speak. So I'll turn it over to you, Joe. You have the con.
All right, this is Van Jones, and he pulls out he doesn't pull out the race card. He pulls out the entire deck. So Van Jones last night, and at the time of this was Clinton had 215 and Trump had 238 electoral college votes on her. So that'll kind of give you an idea of what time it was on. I don't have an exact time here on this clip. So anyway, without further ado, here is Mr. Van Jones in all his glory and wonderment.
You're further than anybody said you would be. And I have enough class, and I was raised well enough to say when you outdo,
yes, sir. Thank you.
When you outdo expectations, good for you. But there's another side to this. People have talked about a miracle. I'm hearing about a nightmare. It's hard to be a parent tonight for a lot of us. You tell your kids, don't be a bully. You tell your kids, don't be a bigot. You tell your kids, do your homework and be prepared. And then you have this outcome, and you have people putting children to bed tonight, and they're afraid of breakfast. They're afraid of, how do I explain this to my children? I have Muslim friends who are texting me tonight saying, should I leave the country? I have families of immigrants that are terrified tonight. This was many things. This was a rebellion against the elites. True, it was a complete reinvention of politics and polls. It's true, but it was also something else. We've talked about race. We've talked about everything but race tonight. We've talked about income. We've talked about class. We've talked about region. We haven't talked about race. This was a white lash. This was a white lash against a changing country. It was a white lash against a black president in part. And that's the part where the pain comes. And Donald Trump has a responsibility tonight to come out and reassure people that he is going to be the president of all the people who he insulted and offended and brushed aside. Yeah, when you say you want to take your country back, you got a lot of people who feel that we're not represented well either. But we don't want to feel that someone has been elected by throwing away some of us to appeal more deeply to others. So this is a deeply painful moment tonight. I know it's not just about race. There's more going on than that. But race is here, too. We got to talk about it.
All right. Yeah. Now, let's talk about it. I remember, when I heard that, his closing line there, we got to talk about it. I was reminded back when Barack Obama was elected in 2008. Yep. How Eric Holder said, we don't talk about race in this country, and we need to talk about it. Everybody's afraid to talk about race. We've never been afraid to talk about race here. But what did Van Jones do but just recycle the entire narrative of the left concerning minorities, particularly black people? Mm-hmm. And this is one thing that I saw on every single media outlet. even Fox News to a degree, but not so much as it was on the others, because this was the narrative on CNN, MSLSD, CBS, ABC, and NBC. These are the channels I watched last night, floated around and watched these, and the narrative was the same. It was almost like I got to thinking to myself, who sent the talking points out? How did they get these talking points put together so fast? Because they were even showing the same graphics. The number of people that they were catching on exit polls that thought the election of Donald Trump was scary. That was the question.
Yes, scary. That's hilarious to me. Scary. How am I going to be a parent tonight?
Yeah, how am I going to be a parent tonight?
Like you are every night.
And What
are you people? Donald Trump's the big bad boogeyman, and he's going to come in your bedroom and steal you? For crying out loud! That is just ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, the word he used, I want to clarify this, because sometimes people hear people like this talk, and those that agree with them will just be shaking their head like bobbleheads. Those like us who disagree with them will be shaking their head the other way, going, "Oh my God, what an idiot! What an idiot! What a fool!" But he used a particular phrase here, guys, and this is why I wanted to bring this up. This was a white lash.
Yeah.
He is referencing, or he's inferring, that white people want to put black people back on the plantation. That we are punishing them. We're whipping them.
Yeah.
Because they have the audacity to think that they have the same opportunity and same chances that we in white America have. Again, this is the exploitation of the black community by the leftists. They're just repackaging. That's what they're doing right now. That's repackaging the plantation narrative as the fact that we went too far. Barack Obama went too far in bringing equality to the forefront of the dialogue and the narrative of the American society, and therefore the white people have all gathered together and decided it's time to put these blackies back in their place, put them back on the plantation, and while we're at it, why don't we just whip them a little bit? Let's whip them into submission. And
it's just insulting, actually, is what. But then again, Van Jones has always been insulting to me.
Yeah.
These people. He talks about what was he? A lot of people feel they were not represented well either. We don't want to feel someone's been elected by throwing away. Some of us appeal more deep. Some of us to appeal more deeply to others. Well, I don't know. Let's see. The person he supported very, very much said that about half of America were deplorable and unredeemable.
Yeah, and Latinos were needy.
Yeah.
Okay, you people out there, what about that one campaign guy, the guy on the Clinton campaign that was picked up in the Veritas project, that blacks were out of their effing minds because they vote for Democrats. He's saying, you vote for Democrats, you're out of, and he's a Democrat.
Yeah.
Okay. So, this whole idea that, this is just exclusive to Donald Trump and the racists that support him, the KKK and everything else, it's total bunk. It's repackaging the black propaganda that has kept the black communities in bondage to the government. And we don't want you guys getting, Whitey's going to put you back in your place. Got to
keep playing the card, otherwise Van Jones won't have a job.
Exactly. The only thing that would.
And the other thing it's doing is it's trivializing the Trump's victory here last night. It's trying to minimize it, trying to make it really isn't a whole victory because of this or because of that. It's trying to minimize it all.
Yeah, and yet when I'm watching,
sure,
and you're watching Trump's acceptance speech, and what do you see? I'll tell you what I saw. I saw signs out there: Hispanics for Trump, blacks for Trump. You just completely discredited anybody of any other color than white that thought Donald Trump might be the answer to the problems in this nation. You yourself just became the slave plantation owner. We got to go to a break here. We're at the top of the hour here. Time for the Edwards Notebook. We'll pay some bills. We'll be back. We have more comment and commentary for you. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. Don't go away.
Stripping money from the U.S. military budget to pour into government school systems is simply exacerbating two major problems. Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, government schools in America have for years received enough money to ensure that more money is spent per student throughout the Republic than almost any other nation on earth. Yet, overall, America ranks 30th in the world in education quality, proving that spending the most money does not ensure the highest quality. Especially since the actual goal of American government school educators is to indoctrinate American students into being glorified, socially conscious globalists who are more in league with the United Nations, open borders, and climate change dogma than reading, writing, arithmetic, and true American history. In addition, the stripping away of needed funding from what has been the best military in the world has produced massive shortages in needed supplies at every level. Thus, the military is now at best heavily strained in the effort to protect America and maintain stability throughout the world. Hopefully, the scenario of double trouble is soon corrected through a return to providential guidance and an appreciation for America the Beautiful. I'm Ron Edwards.
A healthy attitude toward politics will always be relentlessly cynical. The Conservative Syndicate.net, doing our part to keep America healthy.
Prices are for base buildings only. May not be available in some areas. Attention business owners, do you want a stimulus package that really works? Before you spend thousands of dollars more than you should on your next building project, listen to this. General Steel has a stimulus package designed to help you save as much as half the cost of conventional construction on your next building. As much as half. That's right, General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $30,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. With the projected demand for steel in Japan and China, prices may be skyrocketing.
877-927-3360. 877-927-3360. 877-927-3360.
Term life insurance. It can be a powerful way to protect your assets and your family. You work hard to earn and save your money to build a nest egg for the future. Don't let it get wiped out because you didn't plan ahead. Take the time now and make a small investment in $500,000 or more in quality term life insurance. Call the Term Lifeline and let us shop the best companies to give you the lowest rates. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. Ask about some of our 10 and 20-year fixed rate plans with guaranteed rates. Call the Term Lifeline right now for your free insurance quote. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609. You owe it to yourself to protect your family and your assets. Make term life insurance part of that plan. Call the Term Lifeline right now. 800-870-3609. 800-870-3609.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardosa. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardosa Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosalive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosalive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Hey, all you can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time they're going to know what the truth is.
Yes, it is time for the truth. Right here, right now. This is the Conservative Syndicate. Real conservative talk from real conservatives. With your host, John Matthews.
The latter-day prophet. Baying against the hypocrisies of our time.
And Joe Hakos.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most informed pundits and activists available today. Together, we seek to tear down the imaginary wall, a separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement on the religion of politics and the politics of religion. And now, your host on the globally syndicated Conservative Syndicate, John Matthews and Joe Hakos.
All right, hey, we're back. Hour two, right here at the Conservative Syndicate, day after Election Day, and boy, we have no loss of things to talk about here, because the one thing we just want to keep reminding you of is that it's taken progressives the better part of 70 years to get to where they're at, and these people aren't going away just because they lost an election. All right, they're going to regroup. They're going to come back. I don't know. My prediction right now, as the Mad Prophet, in 2020, I'm telling you once again, we're going to have Julian Castro out there. Is going to be the main guy they're going to go to. I think that's going to be their choice. He's one of the first people they went to interview after the announcement was made that Donald Trump won. And so, you know, they're already grooming the guy that's going to bring those undocumented illegals into the legal parentheses, if I can use that phrase. So anyway, we have another clip here, Joe. You have another clip here, and this has to deal with the fear factor. Am I right?
Yeah. You know, these clips, all we're hearing is the audio portions of them. These video clips of this has to do. This is with NBC. MSNBC. This is Larry O'Donnell here, and you've got Rachel Maddow and our America's host here, Brian Williams.
Boy, you talk about the three amigos, huh?
Yeah, and so, but we're talking about Van Jones. Oh, am I gonna? My kids are scared. I got Muslims are scared. I got immigrants. Well, immigrants are scared, Van. No, illegal immigrants ought to be scared. But you're a legal immigrant in this country. You have nothing to fear from Donald Trump or even any part of the government.
Yeah, and if you're a non-radical Islamic Muslim, you've got nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of like, so you go ahead and you play that card, but the fear thing. So here's some more some fear here. This is this comes down to William starts out and says, well, maybe we here at NBC created this monster, and you should see the look on these people's faces, and then Larry gets in there, and Rachel Maddow is just like, oh my goodness! It's like I was waiting for Roy DeSoto and Johnny Gage from Emergency back in the day to come out with the paddles and clear, because he was nothing but shock looking on her. But anyhow, let me get to this so we can get this out of the way here in the first part, so we can talk about some more stuff later. So here we go. This is it starts out with Brian Williams.
This network devoted years of programming and promotional support to a reality show that was mold breaking for the time and contributed largely to making this New York developer, builder, licensor, landlord, investor, successful guy into a global celebrity and brand. A brand.
That's true.
Who sells brand name licensed products with his name on it. Just one of the things we've never seen.
Let me put one back.
Rachel, America is crying tonight. I'm not sure how much of America, but a very, very significant portion, and I mean literally crying. I've gotten texts from a college campus about a dorm that's just in tears. I know of another that I'm hearing from elsewhere, and some of the people you were just talking about are crying from California to Massachusetts about this. This is a sadness. It is a mourning moment for those people, and it is a moment filled with fear. And Donald Trump, thankfully, I don't think instilled any more fear tonight in his speech. It wasn't one of those speeches that had that kind of stuff in it. But he has a job to do. What we saw happen in the stock market is happening in the hearts of Americans. They are afraid. Donald Trump has to address that.
So, fear, you better be afraid. Look out, that's just a Trump, and the Trump balloons are out there. They're going to get you. They're coming in, they're going to get you.
Yeah, the remark about the stock market is uncanny. You remember that the day that James Comey announced that, we decided it was a false alarm, we're not going to go after Hillary Clinton. There were reports that the stock market climbed 200 points within a couple of hours after that. And then I heard reports yesterday that as the announcements of Trump, possibly, I guess, early on, I don't know how they got their hands on this, because this would have all had to happen before the stock exchange closed yesterday. But all of a sudden, what I was hearing last night was that the Dow dropped 800 points.
Yeah, the Dow futures.
Yeah, the futures dropped 800. Now,
late for the next day, yeah.
Yeah, now let's equate this to something else that just happened last year, the Brexit vote.
Yeah, exactly, the Brexit. Mm-hmm.
Okay, the same thing happened. And the reason this happened is not because of fear of who the president's going to be. It's going to be these people that invest know that, okay, the agenda is going to change. Yep. The economy is going to go in a different direction. Let me get rid of the stuff that I have here that isn't going to be profitable to me anymore, and let me turn around and buy someplace else, because it's going to shift. The economy is going to shift, and wise investors see that. The president does not dictate the economy, but they do dictate policies and stuff like that, and that does affect the economy. So a wise investor says, the Obama regime is over. Everything that all the bonds we've been buying instead of stocks, let's get rid of them now. Let's start looking at stocks. I guarantee you, 2 weeks from now, the stock market's going to be up another couple thousand points, but nobody will talk about that.
But, John, he's got texts from college campus about dorms that are just in tears, John.
I almost choked when I heard that, Okay. Did anybody ask him, are these guys hanging out with the Muslims that are texting Van Jones? But here, the fear factor. This is going to be a major thing here. This is what's going to be. What's going to happen here. And to be honest, if we're totally honest here, we have to admit that on our side, there was a good amount of fear of what was going to happen if Hillary Clinton got elected.
Oh, okay? Yes, but, that doesn't matter, though.
No.
And we've been living, I'm sorry, but I've been living in fear for the last 8 years.
Yeah, but our fear, there's no founding for our fear.
Oh, no, not at all. No founding at all. We don't have to worry about the EPA doing anything to us. We don't have to worry about the IRS coming after us. We don't have to worry about somebody taking our not being able to buy any ammunition for your weapons because, they've closed all the smelting plants in the United States and the price of ammunition has gone up sky high. You can't afford it. We're not worried about none of that kind of silliness. Yeah. That's just all anecdotal BS.
Yeah. So, and here's another thing. Here's another little nugget for you. A preliminary exit poll. This is done yesterday. Mm-hmm. 81% of Trump voters think Obamacare went too far. Half of Clinton voters think it didn't go far enough.
Well, there you go.
Okay, 44% of Trump voters said their financial situation is worse than it was 4 years ago. 47% of Clinton voters said their finances have improved. Well, yeah, they're living off the government. Okay, you can't tell me that Clinton voters are getting better jobs and higher wages. Because nobody's getting that. Okay, so there has to be, we've got, 50 million people on food stamps. We've got people on welfare. We got people getting free medical care. Yeah, their financial situation has improved. Now, here's the fear factor. All right, let me give you this, and then we got to go over a break here. Okay. Fear factor. Trump incites greater fear than Clinton. This is according to an ABC poll, exit poll that was taken yesterday, especially among women. 43% of women say they feel scared if Trump were elected because he's going to come out and molest every single one of you, compared with 31% of men. Nearly twice as many women as men say they feel excited by a Clinton win, 22 versus 12, respectively. And 72% of Clinton supporters feel scared by a Trump presidency. 59% of Trump supporters are scared by a Clinton presidency. So the fear is at a much greater degree on the left, and there's a reason for that. That's been the entire narrative of the Democrat Party for the last 50 frickin' years.
Yep, fear. You need us. We got to protect you. We do it for you.
Yeah, you black people, you don't have a snowflake's chance in hell of making it because of Whitey. And if you don't have the government on your side, God help you. You're never going to get anything. You poor homosexuals, they're going to be out there stoning you to death in the streets in front of Trump University. Yeah, if the conservatives take over. You women who can't kill your babies. Oh my God, you're going to be forced to take care of these children.
Or put them up for adoption.
Yeah. Okay, whatever. Anyway, hey, look, we got to go to break. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate. A healthy attitude toward politics will always be relentlessly cynical. The ConservativeSyndicate.net, doing our part to keep America healthy.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification require cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Only Dish brings you the best in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Cut the cable and don't get directed. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. It's so simple. The same channels cost less with Dish. So since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish for the best deal in entertainment. Get premium movie channels free for 3 months, starting at just $19.99. Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call now to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. That's 1-800-600-1645. The same channels for less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardoso. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardoso Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosolive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosolive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did.
Attention taxpayers. If you've received a notice from the IRS or state, do not ignore it. It's also a big mistake to try and handle your tax problem on your own. If you owe back taxes, it's a fact that the government has the power to take everything you own, including your home, business, wages, savings, and your freedom. But here's the good news. There's a special toll-free tax hotline set up especially for you. This tax hotline will tell you about new programs that are geared to help you dramatically settle, reduce, or eliminate what you owe. But you have to call now. Take down this number or put it in your cell phone. But call 866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959. When you call, you get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate back taxes, including penalties and interest. You can also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you've been entered into a payment plan but can't make the payments. Don't make the big mistake in thinking you can ignore or handle your tax problem on your own. You can stop the collection process immediately. Call this special tax hotline today for free info at 1-866-761-0959. That's 1-866-761-0959. 1-866-761-0959.
Don't get your panties all in a bunch.
The Conservative Syndicate.net, exposing weapons of mass distraction. All right, hey, we're back. The Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. If I can I want to close this one segment up here on the fear factor, and then we're going to move on to the pollsters and the pundits and the talking heads. What an embarrassing evening for the whole lot of them. What a bunch of lackeys, okay? And it's just, to me, the best part of this election, outside of now understanding or believing that our Supreme Court is going to be salvaged, and we may be able to perhaps start or begin the process of turning this republic around. Just to give you an indication of the battle we got out here in California, I was looking at the propositions, and I'm not going to go explain what most of these are, but most of them involved bonds, which means raising taxes, and most of them passed. Okay, the one thing the leftists have done is perfected the art of using children as human shields to raise money. Okay. Authorization school bonds passed. Medi-Cal hospital fees passed. Voter approval for bonds did not. And that what they were doing here was that they were saying the petition was, or the bill was, that anytime the California Assembly or government wanted to raise taxes, they had to put it on the ballot. That failed. Okay, so people don't even want to vote on this stuff. The only thing that passed was publish the bills prior to vote. That passed by a 2-1 margin. They extended the temporary tax increase. They extended it. It was supposed to expire this year. They increased the cigarette tax. Another couple bucks to buy cigarettes out here. It's going to be cheaper to smoke crack. And then, let's see, repealed English only. The requirement that people learn English. They repealed that. They legislation to overturn Citizens United. That passed. Repeal the death penalty? No. That went down. Firearm and ammo control, 62% to 37% said yes. No assault weapons in California. Legalize marijuana. Marijuana is going to be legalized out here in California. Redirect carry-out bag funds. There's one for you. Out here in California, they're trying to do away with plastic bags because it's environmentally dangerous, right? And so now if you go into Walmart in L.A. County, you have to bring your own bags. Well, of course, you can purchase reusable bags from them made out of reusable fiber, all right? But you can't. A lot of L.A. County stores no longer allow plastic bags to be used to take your stuff out of their store. And so what they wanted to do was they wanted to take that money out, and they wanted to use it to, of course, put out propaganda about the environment, climate change. That failed for some reason. I don't know why.
People's Republic of California.
Well, yeah, but given this is California, I figured that one would probably go. Okay. Anyway, so a lot of the stuff that's going to involve raising taxes out here in California all passed. And so there we go. There it is. So we're going to drive more businesses out, and the economy will get worse, but at least we'll take care of all the illegals. All right.
Yes, at least you got that going for you. You know,
right.
Eureka! I have found it. I wonder what the word is for I have lost it.
For what?
I wonder what the word is for I have lost it. You know, because your state motto, Eureka.
Oh yeah,
I have found it. So I wonder what it is for I have lost it, because you guys have lost your flipping minds.
I know what it is. It's Eureka. Anyway, all right. One last thing here. One of the other narratives that we're going to hear more and more of here, because Hillary Clinton lost and she's a woman. So obviously sexism is going to play into this. And this is part of the fear factor. I quoted to you how many liberal women are fearful that Donald Trump is going to go out on the campaign trail once he gets to the White House and molest every woman and get his hands on. All right? And what they're doing here, I just want to use this example here. The race between Darrell Issa and this gentleman Applegate, all right? Their campaign, both of their campaigns, centered around sexism. Not about Darrell Issa's voting record or what Applegate, as an ex-Marine officer, thinks of veterans or anything else. Okay, what happens is the Applegate campaign had salvos against Issa because he supported Donald Trump. And, of course, that means he's a sexist. And, we can't have that. We can't have that. Issa attacked Applegate over a temporary restraining order that Applegate had put out on Applegate's wife put out against him when they got divorced. I guess she filed for a restraining order. And he's accused him using documents from the court. I would imagine what this means is that Applegate was hanging around his house, checking on his wife, seeing what she was doing. But he used the documents to portray Applegate as a peeping Tom, a stalker, and therefore dangerous to women. Now, I know that has to be divorce related. Some of these guys, you get divorced, and if your wife is messing around on you or something, you want to know who she's messing around with. So guys will do that. I did it. I remember years ago, my second wife, that's what we divorced over, was adultery. I knew she was messing around. So I would say, hey, I'm going to work. And what I would do is I'd leave work early and I'd come home and I'd walk around the house and see what I could see. So apparently somewhere in the process, maybe he was harassing her. I don't know. It's none of my business. And it's nobody else's business. The guy's going through a divorce. Divorces are messy. And so what happened here was probably he got a restraining order because he was coming to the house unannounced, trying to check out what's going on in his house, and his wife got paranoid about it and had a restraining order. Darrell Issa used that against him to portray him as a stalker and sex offender. There's class act for you. All right? Anyway, so sexism is going to be the thing. Every time Donald Trump goes out on the road or does something, I wonder how many people are going to be out there seeing if they can catch him ogling at a girl or maybe patting her on the butt or whatever. Okay? That'll be what it's all about. Okay? Anyway. All right. Having said all that, I'm done with that part of this thing. Let's get to the pollsters, because this was the cream of the crop of the night. Watching these people melt down on some networks. And in my particular case, what I really got a kick out of was how friendly all of a sudden Fox News was to Donald Trump. Every single one of them. And even Megyn Kelly. But Megyn Kelly was kind of standoffish. She did raise the issue about him being being accused of allegations of sexual advances against women. She didn't call him a sexual predator, but she said, he's been accused of molesting women or something like that. She did allude to the fact that there was something else. She quite a couple of times she alluded to the sexual stuff that was going on with the Trump campaign, and I'm sitting there thinking, hey, Kelly, this is all over. Okay, why are you still beating this? Well, because she is a self-proclaimed protector of women.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and so she's got to get that out there. So, but they were meltdown after meltdown. Frank Luntz was one of my favorites, trying to act like he knew this was going to happen all along. It just sounded like such a buffoon. But you had one in particular. Was that Larry Sabato?
Larry Sabato, the director of University of Virginia Center for Politics.
Yeah, okay. Tell us what's that about.
Well, here, we'll just let Larry do it. We got just enough time to do this.
Well, the heartbreak is hard to describe for some on the faces of Hillary Clinton's many supporters waiting all night long to see their candidate. Nobody expected her to actually lose, but she did.
And have our first female president ever. Not even Larry Sabato predicted this in his famous crystal ball. Dr. Sabato, how did the wheels come off the ball?
Brian, let me tell you something. First of all, that ball is shattered in 1,000 pieces. I've got to order a new one, and they only make them in China. And Steve has just offered to buy one for me, and I appreciate it. Second, I want to tell you something in all sincerity. We were wrong, okay? The entire punditry industry, the entire polling industry, the entire analyst industry, and I want to use this opportunity to take my fair share of the blame. We were wrong. And Steve just said, I want to see that egg on your face. Steve, you're totally wrong. I don't have egg on my face. I have omelet on my face.
So Larry admits it. They were wrong. He doesn't say how they were wrong, but he knows they were wrong. So we were saying, don't believe these guys. And, well, I think we proved to be correct on that one.
Yeah,
so I
we
think
did.
We're going to, John.
Yeah, we did. And that was one of the congratulatory comments I got this morning from some of my liberal friends. You guys they knew what we were talking about. They said, yeah, you guys didn't stand by the polls. You said the polls were wrong, and you were right. Frank Cotolo out there, if you're listening to me, 538 doesn't mean squat now, does it? Anyway, guys, we got to go to break. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative Syndicate.
Ever wonder how the credit card companies make their money? Well, think about this. If you owe $25,000 on 5 different credit cards and you make your minimum payments every month, here's what it's going to cost you. Are you sitting down? You'll shell out over $13,000 in additional interest, and it's going to take over 13 years to pay off your original $25,000 balance. That's how they make money. Now it's your turn to fight back by calling the Debt Solutions Network. We'll work on your behalf to reduce your debt. We specialize in credit cards, retail store cards, and medical bills. We promise we can and will reduce your debt. Call right now for a free 15-minute debt analysis. 800-709-4392. 800-709-4392. 800-709-4392. 800-709-4392.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
When I had a heart attack at 42, I was not sure what the future held. But a year later, the doctors could find nothing wrong with me and took me off all my medication. What did I do? I took a herbal mixture of garlic, cayenne, and a few other herbs mixed in liquid form. I now call this Extendovite. I would have never believed that a few simple herbs could actually change my life like they did. Now it's your turn to see what the powers of garlic and cayenne can do for you. For only $69.95 plus shipping and handling for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid, you too can begin on your path to better health. For more information, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
I've owned my company for 14 years now, and I can tell you that payroll is a 4-letter word. I hate doing it. It eats up hours I don't have, and it costs me money I could be saving. But my accountant's too expensive, and I'm not sure who to call, but I know I need help.
We're Paychex, and we take all the hassles out of small business payroll. We save you time and money. It's easy. Call, fax, or give us your payroll information securely online, and we take care of the rest. We calculate the correct taxes, manage payments and direct deposits. We even send out your checks. Payroll doesn't need to be a 4-letter word anymore. We're so sure that we can save you time and money that we'll give you a month's payroll free. Just for calling 877-663-3830. Get 1 month's payroll for free. Call Paychex right now. 877-663-3830. That's 877-663-3830.
Hey, I don't back anybody unless I believe in them. And I do believe in the value of investing in gold and silver. And the company I trust to buy my gold and silver from is Swiss America. I've been working with them for nearly a decade. I trust them, and you can too. Swiss America will help you sort through and find the best options available when you're considering investing in gold and silver coins. Listen, for over 30 years, Swiss America has been offering Americans what they want in their investments: safety, liquidity, quality, reliability, and a potential profit. Gold and silver have a place in every investor's portfolio. So, why not let Swiss America help you diversify your investment portfolio now? Call now for free information. 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907, 800-978-3907.
If you've got joint pain, let me ask you a question. Would you like a high-quality knee, back, shoulder, or ankle brace at little or no cost? But just in case your reception isn't great, let me ask you again. Would you like a pain-relieving knee, back, shoulder, or ankle brace at little or no cost? Well, if you have Medicare insurance, you could qualify for these pain-relieving braces at little or no cost. And these are high-quality braces. They are very comfortable, and they've helped thousands relieve their pain. Now, I'd like you to imagine going on vacation, playing with your grandkids, just living your life again without pain. The Mobility Hotline is a referral service that connects folks with Medicare coverage and other insurance to accredited companies offering pain-relieving braces at little or no cost. And don't you worry about the Medicare paperwork. They'll handle it all for you. And they'll deliver your braces for free. Call the Mobility Hotline now. The call's free. 1-800-557-6150. 1-800-557-6150. 1-800-557-6150.
Get your panties all in a bunch.
The Conservative Syndicate.net, exposing weapons of mass distraction. Okay, hey, we're back. The Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. I'm your host, John Matthews, along with Joe Hakos. And I've got some stuff I want to share here on from Frank Luntz. You know, and I'll tell you why. Because I have to be totally honest. I used to give this guy a lot of credibility. I used to listen to his focus groups, and because most of what I heard from him was live. You know, he'd be talking to the focus groups and stuff. You're hearing it, straight from the horse's mouth per se, and it's like, how can you not give that, some substance? That's the substance. You're listening to voters tell you what they think and why they think what they think. And he was very good. He's very good at summarizing this kind of stuff. But somebody seemed to think, or somewhere along the line, either somebody thought or he thought that he could start predicting things. And that's where he blew it. And so what I want to start out here first, because I'm going to blow our own horn here at the Conservative Syndicate. We were not fooled by this stuff. We told you all out there that these polls were skewed. We gave you documentation on that. The Podesta email leak, where we talked about how they discussed how they were going to skew the polls. And we bared down on this when after the third debate, all of a sudden Hillary Clinton had a 12-point lead in the Washington ABC poll. And everybody else had them, pretty much close. 4 points, 5 points. Some of them, like the LA Times, had Trump ahead. And all of a sudden, Washington ABC comes out with this massive increase in numbers just because of Hillary Clinton, her performance in the third debate. So we said, no, that can't be true. That can't be true. It doesn't fit. And one of the things that we kept saying was the reason why the polls are inaccurate is because they're using old, outdated methods and data. We talked about the data banks, the emails. You guys get emails from all these campaigns. Those emails end up in some data bank somewhere, and that is supposedly the people that they select from those people who they're going to call for these surveys. But we also know now that your email address also gives them access to your habits. And so they know how to pick the ones that they want. They say, well, we pick them randomly. Well, yeah, maybe they do pick them randomly. They pick them randomly based on what they find out in the data. Okay. Oh yeah, this guy's on food stamps. Okay, yeah. Well, he's throw him in the random pack here. He'll be one of the ones that we pick. Okay, that kind of thing. Understand, politics is dirty, and everything they do is dirty. Everything attached to it is dirty. And so the idea that they just throw a phrase out there like, oh yeah, the random voters. No, there's no such thing. I'm 62 years old. I've been voting for the better part of 40 years, 45 years. I've never been called. I've never been surveyed. I've never been emailed, outside of people asking me for money. Anyway, New York Times, just 2 hours ago, puts this article out here. Here's the article, and I want to use this to lead into my little commentary on Frank Luntz.
Okay.
New York Times, how did we get this wrong? This is Michael Barbaro at the New York Times. And I'm going to read this paragraph. So what happened? We don't know what happened because the tools that we would normally use to help us assess what happened failed. The polling on both sides was wrong. She said, Mrs. Rutenberg, they're quoting here, what's her name? Jim Rutenberg. Jim Rutenberg. Mr. Rutenberg had just finished writing about how the media had missed Mr. Trump's wide appeal and what that misfire says about journalists' flawed understanding of major swaths of our country. What we now know is a huge part of the country is far more upset about the ills that he was pointing into and promising to fix than any of the flaws that we were pointing out about him as a candidate. Wow, the light goes on. You guys were focusing, you were majoring on the minors, and the rest of the country was majoring on the majors. That's really what it was. They were so focused on personality traits and habits and past history on both candidates. And it was all, on Hillary's side, it was all about covering it up, running damage control. On Trump, it was all about destroying him. But they were using data that in the eyes of the average voter today didn't mean anything. And that's why Donald Trump had all those 12 allegations about women and everything else, and people just looked the other way. That's not important to me. It's not important to me. Okay? That's why the left on the left, Hillary's scandals, her email, men dying in Benghazi, the corruption of the Clinton Foundation, doesn't mean anything to them because that's not what they're looking for in a candidate. I remember quoting you guys out here, Bob Costas once said, people will accept corruption in their leaders as long as they're getting something.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the leftist mentality. I just quoted you in the previous poll. How many? 34% of Democrats said their financial situation has gotten better. How? Because the government is giving them more. Okay, they're not saying they're not clarifying that by saying, yeah, it's better because the government is giving me food stamps and Medicare and Obamacare and my free phones and my, I'm getting all this free stuff, and so my life is much better. And so but that's not how the media will report that. They report once 34% of the people said my life is better. Oh, everybody takes that, they process it however they want to process it, and it just goes the wayside. Doesn't mean anything. Here it is. Mr. Rutenberg, okay, he goes on to say here. Okay, I said that, okay. What we're also seeing is a repudiation of Mrs. Clinton. Fundamentally, Clinton, as it turns out, was the worst candidate Democrats could have run, which is kind of ironic since the field was cleared for her back in 2013. Had almost any other major Democratic candidate been the nominee, they would have beaten Donald Trump. Duh. I mean, yeah, is this rocket science? Okay.
Apparently it is.
Yeah, so, and that's what they're saying. Now, back to my friend Frank Luntz. All right? Frank Luntz last night tweeted, let's see, I want to read you the tweet here. I like the way they posted this thing. Luntz the Dunce says exit polls were wrong. Okay. Frank Luntz posted last night, the 2016 exit polls from 5 hours ago are so far the worst and least accurate we've ever seen. This is his tweet last night. Once they all realized this thing was not going where it's supposed to go. Now, here's a man who's just out there touting all this. This is what he was talking about last night on the panel. He says that we need to throw away, discard, outlaw the use of exit poll data now. Okay, we don't need to use it anymore. Exit poll data should be banned. Political consultant Frank Luntz told CBS.
It sounds like the kid that burns his hand on the stove. Owie, I'll never use the stove again. Owie, owie, owie.
Yeah. The numbers were wrong, he said, all the way across the table on state after state after state. He had predicted that Hillary Clinton was going to score a runaway win based on his reading of the exit polls. So Frank Luntz is a dunce if he's not actually sitting in front of the very people that he's polling. If he's out there trying to gather data, he's just as dumb and stupid as the rest of them. All right? He says there is still a hidden Trump vote. People who refuse to tell the pollsters. Now, that's something I heard from several pundits last night.
Yeah.
Is that, okay, apparently Trump supporters don't want the media to know what they think because they don't trust the media. So they don't say anything or they lie. And I think that's pretty obvious. But on that note, let me also point something out here to you. As I said at the very beginning of the show, this is what concerns me, not polling data. What concerns me is the number of Democrats that actually showed up and voted. Hillary Clinton still got the popular vote, even though she lost the race. That, in and of itself, I think is the most scary thing. If you want to talk about what am I scared about Donald Trump winning, the fact that Hillary Clinton got so many votes, 53 million votes, 53 million asshats, morons got to the polls. That's what's scary. With everything that we now know, that the data was skewed, it was wrong, the statistics, everything was made up, the media participated in this willfully and openly, and still she was proven. We know she's corrupt. 67% of the people that voted for her think she's corrupt, but they still voted for her. That's the scary number. Because we're going to have to deal with that in just another couple of years, and then in 2020 all over again. And who knows what's going to happen between now and then as they try to patch up all the mistakes and stuff that didn't go their way. And they start trying to, okay, we got to redo our strategy here. We got to remark the map. We got to figure out what to do, that kind of thing. So anyway, boy, I'm out of breath, but I'm so stoked, man. I woke up this morning with so much energy, even though I'm really kind of dead tired.
Yes, I know that feeling.
Anyway, we got to go to a quick break. Our quick break here. We'll be right back. Stay with us right here at the Conservative. There is an old saying, children should be seen but not heard. At no time is this more apparent than when politicians speak. TheConservativeSyndicate.net, the adults in the room. Hey folks, if you're like me, you don't place a whole lot of trust in today's media for the real truth and facts regarding the volatile world of finance and politics. When I want the real scoop on money, I go to the most trusted source I know, my good friend and colleague, Bob Cardosa. Bob is a noted expert with a PhD in international finance who airs his nationally known, globally syndicated show, Robert Cardosa Live Daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. With Bob, you get the right information at the right time from someone who knows his business and can help you make the right decisions concerning yours. Again, Bob airs daily, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit his website at robertcardosalive.com for information regarding stations and topics. That's robertcardosalive.com. Check Bob out. You'll be glad you did. History affirms a vibrant civil society thrives on freedom of conscience, religion, and choice. Any society absent these qualities stifles individual responsibility and accountability, thus enslaving its people by denying them their potential for goodness, creativity, and altruism. To that extent, oppression, coercion, and totalitarianism are multiplied exponentially. To counter such outcomes, the American Freedom Alliance was formed. The AFA is a nonpartisan, non-aligned movement which promotes, defends, and upholds Western values and ideals. The Alliance strives to build an international coalition of citizens of the West who together promote and protect moral values, democracy, and freedom. To find out more and become part of this valuable asset in the preservation of freedom and all its rewards, contact us at AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. That's AmericanFreedomAlliance.org. Let freedom ring.
Don't get your panties all in a bunch.
The Conservative Syndicate.net, exposing weapons of mass distraction. Okay, we're back. The Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives. Visit our website, theconservativesyndicate.net. Find out, get this archive if you want to share it with your friends, or maybe some of your liberal friends. That would be even better. And or if you want to, share any of our archives, or what, those of you who listened to us last night, I do have to make this announcement. You listened to the show last night. We had a major technical glitch in the second hour. For some reason, the Skype didn't hook up the way it was, and Audrey Russo was trying to call in, and Don Dix was trying to call in. I couldn't connect with Audrey, was able to connect with Don, but it ate up a whole lot of time trying to do this. And by the time I tried to edit it all out, I lost like almost 20 minutes of the show. So I canned the show. I didn't post it because there wasn't enough time out there. So sorry about that. But anyway, won't happen tonight. Everything's run very, very smoothly tonight.
Yeah, you got tonight.
Yeah, we got tonight. One last closing remark, and then I'm going to hand it over to Joe, who's going to point out to us some winners and losers of this thing. Maggie Haberman, out of the same article I was just talking about, the New York Times, How Did We Get It All Wrong? She says about Mr. Trump, I've covered this man in some form or anything for 20 years, and I've covered Hillary Clinton in some form for another 20 years. That this race ended up the way it did is not surprising, given everything I know about Clinton and how people are really hardened against her and really hardened for her, but there's no middle ground. That means they either like her or hate her, no matter what. But Donald Trump, I love this closing remark here, but Donald Trump did everything short of cutting off his own ear to try to hurt himself over and over again and dare voters to reject him. And they just wouldn't do it.
Jeez.
That's because nobody cared about what the media was telling us was important. And you saw it even on the Fox panel last night. Like I said, Megyn Kelly kept trying to go back to, well, we saw this and we found this, and why didn't it work? And nobody was listening to Luntz when he said, we got it all wrong because the stuff that we used isn't accurate.
Duh.
Bingo. Okay, Joe, you got some winners and losers for us.
Yeah, from the Washington Post today, Chris Cicilla. Okay, he said, let me sum up the 2016 election in 2 words. Holy crap! Okay. So the winners and losers, because we don't have a whole bunch of time here. Okay, so winners, obviously, number one winner is Donald Trump, President-elect Donald Trump. He would be the number one winner. Okay, go figure. Hey, he won it, and I don't think anybody. Let's face it. Any of these other candidates, we'd be looking at President-elect Hillary Clinton right now. I'll tell you right now, all the other 16 people that are out there, that's what we would have. Yeah. So enough said on that. Oh, here's John's favorite guy, Reince Priebus. He actually did show that he could kind of get, that Republicans out there to kind of work a little bit, and they've maintained control of the Senate and the House. So, hey, Reince, way to be there, buddy. Way to go.
Yeah, and they were talking last night about the possibility that he might end up as Trump's chief of staff.
Okay. I'm just totally overwhelmed.
I'm just telling you, it was floated out there, and I'm not saying Trump said it or anything else. It was just floated out there. They were commenting about it, what a great job he did, preserving the majorities and everything else. And he was a trooper. He stuck to his word. He supported Trump. He did everything he said he was going to do, and so they were saying, yeah, this guy'd make a great chief of staff. No, I don't think so.
Well, yeah, that's not up to me. Okay, another winner, Kellyanne Conway. She was known before this, but Conway did what neither Corey Lewandowski nor Paul Manafort could. She managed to manage Donald Trump. She did it by using her own public megaphone and their constant TV presence and an active Twitter account to encourage Trump's better angels to always pushing him away to stay focused on issues away from personal attacks. If you watch the campaign of the candidate, you know that Conway didn't succeed all the time. or even most of the time, but she rode the wave and stuck the landing. She can write her own ticket for what she wants to do next, whether that's inside or outside the Trump White House. Yeah, I'll give him credit on that one. Kellyanne did a great job, and you could see her on the out there on TV with Stephanopoulos, and I just saw with on CNN with I don't know who that Jack Wagon is, but I mean it's more like an inquisition. It was like she was on trial for killing a baby sheep or something. It was ridiculous. This guy Alan Lichtman, who is a professor of history at American University, apparently he was able to kind of tell us that Trump was going to win a long time ago. So great for him. This next one is kind of like I'm just going to give a cursory talk to Michelle Obama. He writes, Michelle Obama is a winner in this election because she emerges from the dumpster fire of elections in good shape. She was the unquestioned star of the 2016 campaign. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. Let's go on to losers because we're right there with Michelle anyway. Okay, so the number one loser, obviously, Hillary Rodham Clinton.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? If she wasn't so corrupt and criminal and really wasn't so fake, maybe people would have liked her enough to vote for her.
Yeah, one quick question, Joe. One quick question. Do you think she's going to go away now?
I don't know if they'll ever go away.
Yeah, I mean, the Clinton Foundation will continue to rake in money. I just wonder if she's really going to be out of the public eye at this point.
I don't know. I don't know. And it's like the same can be said for this next loser. The second biggest loser, Barack Obama.
Yeah.
Because there goes his legacy. Yeah. Yes. Can we applaud the end of Barack Obama's legacy? Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Oh, organization, money, and TV ads. By every traditional measure, the campaign success, Clinton should have rolled the victory because she spent enough money. Didn't happen for her, though. Yeah. The media, another loser. Yes. They were supposed to, as journalists, rely on past to teach us about the present and the future. That approach usually works until the past no longer is predictive of the present at the time. Has come to throw out our assumptions about how the American public see itself and what in its leaders. Time to start anew. And I think that probably puts us at the end of the show, John.
Yeah, very close, very close. I would say, though, in my opinion, Barack Obama was the biggest loser. Hillary Clinton was second. Because, because I mean, everything Barack Obama did was to protect his legacy. He wasn't out campaigning for Clinton. He was out campaigning for Barack Obama, and he just lost major. I would love to be in that meeting when he meets Donald Trump. They're going to meet, and I can just imagine Barack Obama trying to tell him, well, this is the job, this is what you got to do, this is where you got to go, and Trump just looking at him and going, you're fired.
Yeah, okay. Shut up.
All right, guys, we're shutting down for the rest of the week. I'll be out of town all this week. I've been invited to teach up at a conference, to speak up at a conference in Big Bear, and I'm going to take it. I'm going to take the weekend and have some fun and be able to teach and meet some people on both sides of the political aisle, voted for Donald Trump and voted for Hillary Clinton. So we'll be back on Monday, 3 o'clock. God bless you all. We love you.
Guide me to who you want me to help. Raise up more that will call upon your name. Raise up those that love you and seek you and trust you. Raise them up, Lord, raise them up. Lord, we need a generation of believers who are not ashamed of the gospel. We need an army of believers, Lord, that hate to be lukewarm and will stand on your word above all else. Raise them up, Lord, raise them up. I pray for unity among those that love you. I pray that you open their eyes so that they can see your truth, Lord. I pray for your hand of protection and guidance. Raise up a generation, Lord, that will take light into this world, that will not compromise when under pressure, that will not cower, Lord, when others fall away. Raise them up, Lord, that they will proclaim that there There is salvation in the name of Jesus Christ. Raise up warriors, Lord, who will fight on their knees, who will worship you with their whole hearts, Lord. Lord, call us to battle, that we may proclaim you King of kings and Lord of lords. I pray these things with all my heart. Raise them up, Lord, raise them up.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Conservative Syndicate, the nationally acclaimed, globally syndicated, politically incorrect talk show that seeks to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state. We want to make you aware you can find and access all our show archives at our website, theconservativesyndicate.net, as well as our broadcast stations and times. That's theconservativesyndicate.net. We so appreciate you taking the time to tune in, and we so look forward to continuing to bring you the best in uncompromised talk radio available on the net today. And remember, folks, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down in life. It only matters how many times you get up. I'm John Matthews, along with Joe Hako, signing off until next time right here at the Conservative Syndicate. God bless you, and may God continue to bless America.